What if I told you there are anime where the main character is so overpowered that nothing is ever a challenge, no training, no struggle, no real fights, just pure dominance from start to finish? These are the kind of MCs who walk into another world already at the top and casually build a harem of powerful girls without even trying. In this video, we're counting down the top 7 harem anime where the MC is effortlessly the strongest from number 7 all the way to number 1. And trust me, the higher we go, the more ridiculous it gets. So let's get started. At number 7, we have In Another World with My Smartphone. And this is the definition of effortless power from the very beginning. Tuya doesn't have to struggle, train, or prove himself because he's literally blessed by a god and sent into another world with enhanced abilities, and even his smartphone, which gives him access to information and advantages no one else has. From the moment he arrives, everything just works in his favor. His magic is ridiculously strong. He can use all elements without limitation, and every situation he faces gets resolved with almost no effort at all. But what really makes this feel like a true power fantasy is the harem, because the girls around him aren't just random characters. They include princesses, noble girls, and powerful fighters who are all drawn to him naturally. He doesn't chase them or force anything, they simply gravitate toward him because of how reliable, strong, and calm he is in every situation. There's no tension, no real struggle, just constant control and progression as he builds connections and expands his influence. It's that combination of God-given power, zero difficulty, and a harem that forms effortlessly around him that makes this one of the purest examples of an unstoppable MC, and exactly why he takes the number 7 spot on this list. At number 6, we have Wise Man's Grandchild, and this is where being effortlessly overpowered becomes almost unfair. Shin grows up trained by one of the strongest mages in history, but because he develops his magic based on modern knowledge, his abilities go way beyond what anyone in that world considers normal. From the moment he enters society, it's obvious that no one can match him because his spells are stronger, faster, and more efficient than anything people have ever seen. He doesn't struggle in battles, he completely dominates them, often without even realizing how far above everyone else he really is. And that calm confidence is exactly what attracts the girls around him, because instead of being intimidated, they admire his strength and reliability. His harem forms naturally with powerful and talented girls who are drawn to him not just because of his power, but also because of his personality. Shin never needs to show off or push himself to the limit. Everything he does feels easy and controlled, which makes his strength even more impressive. It's that mix of overwhelming power, natural charisma, and a harem that builds itself around him without effort that makes this one of the cleanest examples of an effortlessly strongest MC, and exactly why it takes the number 6 spot on this list. At number 5, we have Campfire Cooking in Another World, with my absurd skill, and this is where being effortlessly strong takes a completely different form. Mukoda isn't a warrior, he's not trying to become a hero, and he doesn't even care about fighting, but his unique skill allows him to access modern food in a fantasy world, and somehow that turns him into one of the most unstoppable characters around. The moment he starts cooking, he attracts insanely powerful beings, including legendary creatures and even goddesses, who become completely obsessed with his food and decide to stay by his side. What makes this so interesting is that Mukoda doesn't need to fight because the beings around him do everything for him, protecting him and destroying any threat instantly. And as more characters join him, his group starts to feel like a full harem of powerful companions who are all connected to him through his ability. He just focuses on living comfortably while everything else gets handled for him without effort. It's that combination of indirect power, absolute protection, and a harem that forms purely because of how valuable he is that makes this one of the most unique, unstoppable fantasies, and exactly why it takes the number 5 spot on this list. At number 4, we have The Eighth Son. Are you kidding me? And this is where effortless strength meets status and influence. Wendelin starts as a poor noble with no real future, but the moment his magical talent is discovered, everything changes because his ability is so rare and powerful that he instantly rises above everyone around him. He doesn't struggle to become strong. His growth feels natural, almost inevitable, as he quickly masters high-level magic that most people can't even begin to understand. And as his power becomes known, his position in society skyrockets, attracting attention from nobles, mages, and powerful figures who all want to be connected to him. That's where the harem begins to form, because the girls around him aren't just interested in him, they recognize his value, his strength, and his future potential, making them gravitate toward him naturally. Wendelin doesn't need to force anything. His presence alone is enough to draw people in and secure his place at the top. It's that combination of overwhelming magical talent, rising status, and a harem built on both power and influence that makes this a perfect example of an effortlessly strongest MC, and exactly why it takes the number 4 spot on this list. At number 3, we have Death March to the Parallel World Rhapsody, and this is where effortless power becomes almost absurd. Satu doesn't train, he doesn't struggle, and he doesn't even try to become strong, but after using a powerful skill at the very beginning, he instantly jumps to an extremely high level gaining abilities that completely break the system of the world. From that point forward, nothing can really challenge him, because his stats, his magic, and his resources are all on a completely different level compared to everyone else. What makes this even more satisfying is how casually he handles everything, because instead of rushing into battles, he explores the world at his own pace, knowing that he can end any fight instantly if he wants to. And as he travels, he gathers a group of girls who naturally become part of his life, including elves, nobles, and other unique characters, each one bringing something different to the group. They admire him, trust him, and rely on him, which makes the harem feel stable and constantly present. Satu doesn't need to prove his strength, because it's already obvious in every situation. And that relaxed dominance, combined with a growing harem, is exactly why he takes the number 3 spot on this list. At number 2, we have Black Summoner, and this is where effortless strength meets pure battle addiction. Kelvin doesn't just become strong, he starts off with insane summoning abilities, after sacrificing his memories, and from that point forward, his growth never really slows down. What makes him different is that he doesn't see power as a responsibility. He sees it as entertainment, constantly seeking stronger enemies just to enjoy the fight while still dominating almost every encounter he faces. His summons aren't just tools, they are powerful individuals who become deeply connected to him, forming a harem of elite fighters who follow him without hesitation. As his team grows, it starts to feel less like a group and more like a personal army made of incredibly strong and loyal companions. Kelvin doesn't need to struggle because even when he's pushing himself, he's still ahead of everyone else, which creates that constant feeling of control in every situation. The girls around him admire his strength, trust his decisions, and willingly stay by his side as he keeps getting stronger. It's that mix of effortless dominance, love for battle, and a harem made of powerful summons that makes this one of the most satisfying, unstoppable fantasies, and exactly why he takes the number 2 spot on this list. At number 1, we have the Misfit of Demon King Academy, and this is the ultimate definition of being effortlessly the strongest. Anos Voldigo doesn't train, he doesn't struggle, and he doesn't need time to grow because from the moment he appears, he is already at the absolute peak of power. He casually destroys enemies, revives himself, rewrites magic, and breaks every rule of the world as if none of it matters. What makes this even more insane is that he does all of this without taking anything seriously. Every fight, every challenge, every obstacle gets handled like it's nothing, which makes his dominance feel completely unmatched. And then there's the harem, because the girls around him don't just like him, they completely admire and worship him, recognizing his power as something beyond normal existence. Characters like Misha and Sasha are powerful on their own, but next to Anos, they fully accept him as their king and follow him without hesitation. As the story progresses, his influence keeps expanding, and everyone around him realizes that resisting him is pointless. It's that combination of absolute power, zero effort, and a harem that sees him as an untouchable being that makes this the perfect example of an effortlessly strongest MC, and exactly why it takes the number 1 spot on this list. And that was the top 7 harem anime where the MC is effortlessly the strongest. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe for more anime tops like this, and let me know in the comments which one you think is the most broken, or if there's an even more effortless MC I should include next, because the next list is going to be even more insane.